Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining me. We're going to be looking at the game Crossout today, and we're going to be actually talking about pay to win. I've seen the forum posts. I even went on their Facebook page, and people are trouncing this game for being heavy on pay to win based on some of the choices they've made, the game gods' choices. Well, first off, we got to realize this game is in beta. Okay, let's first take that into consideration. So nothing's like cast in stone, and if you've paid money for this game to get where you are today, that's okay. But I want to tell you that pay to win is different than play to enjoy. Okay, they both can coexist, and I'm going to show you this. I have paid absolutely zero for this game. I've only played this game 3 weeks now, and at the most I've only played a couple hours a day. So let's just bring up the calculator here, and that would be 21 days. I've only been playing this game 21 days, and I want to multiply that by, okay, at the most I've played 2 hours. So I've played this game 42 hours. Okay, you know, we could argue that I might have paid a little more, maybe a little less, but let's go with 42. So I've put 42 hours into this game. All right, let's go to Tarkis's score sheet here, and again, let's be serious here. I have paid absolutely nothing for this game, nothing, and I'm just scrolling down the one I want to show you the most here. Okay, all right there, MVP. What's that say? 96 MVP, meaning that on my team, I scored the highest amongst them all 96 times in a 42-hour period. Okay, think about that. First Blood, 113. If you look at some of my stats, if we scroll up here, the Angel of Death destroyed 2 enemies with less than 10 seconds between them. That's 242. I go all the way to the end. Angel of Death 4. That means I killed 5 enemies within 10 seconds around them. Now, you're asking yourself, okay, that's fine and dandy, but how does that translate to fun? Well, killing all these people on the battlefield, spending no money on this game is quite, enjoyable to me. But again, you will find in this game that people are running rig sets that they obviously paid money for. If we go to the market here, one of the big things that people were running, and I think it's called ZO. I know it's maybe it just starts. Let me see if I can get it to bring up here. It's this one right here. Sorry. This is it right here. This weapon, if you want to buy it, okay, is 1900 in-game coin. And there are people running this drone. They've got 4 of them on their rigs. So if you did let's do the math on this, okay? Let's bring up the calculator again. Well, I think I'll have to bring it back up here. Let's bring up the calculator again and let's make sure we get it clear here. And let's go into that. That's 1900, okay, times 4, and that's what they're running. So they've got 7,600 coin. Now let's go to buy coin, right? So if I click here, well, I think I have to cancel out of the market here to go buy. I want to purchase coin. Now you could figure out how much that costs. We're talking. Look at this, 5, 6. That's it right there. 7,500 in-game coins. That cost them $100 real money. Because there's no way they basically built that in this game in this short period. And if they did, kudos to them. But most of these guys are running 4 of these, and that's got to be what they spent. And I will be honest with you, you can't compete against it because those 4 drones, they're detonation drones, and what they do is they seek you out and blow up, and they'll just one-shot you. And yesterday I was playing, and there was 3 guys on the same team running 4 apiece, and no matter what you did, you could not win against them. So the pay to win aspect is there because these guys are running as a crew and they're just one-shotting people with just, there's no thinking involved. There was one guy on my team that was a bot. The guy wasn't even there. I would end up, he'd be on my team, and what was just great is he was getting 4 to 5 kills a match. We were always winning, and the guy never moved out of the spot that he spawned in. And he was running those drones. So, and he's a bot because we're pushing him around. He never moved. It was all morning long for about an hour and a half, all morning long. Sometimes he'd be on the opponent's team and he would kill us all. And we were all griping about it. It's like, what is going on here when a person can be AFK and basically just kill people? Well, you're not going to get a lot of that because when I came back onto the game to play for a half hour later on at night, okay, there was not that many bots like that. And the fact being is you're not seeing that many of these people running those drones. And what's great about it is if you just get out of the lobby, wait about 5 minutes, they'll get scooped up into another game and then just requeue and hope that you don't get scooped up into their game. The other weapon that these guys, these weenie guys is what I call them, they don't want to do any effort at all in the game. They just want to kill people and spend money, obviously. But there was another one where there's these missiles that are auto-homing and they hit you. And guys are running 4 of those or 2 of those on their rigs, and they're coordinating it with their comrades. And realistically, it requires no effort at all. Again, you can just stand there, and these homing missiles will go out and kill people. And some of these guys can one-shot you depending on, their accuracy. So, that is a frustration in the game, and people are arguing that's pay to win. Well, yeah, that's pay to win. You obviously, if I dropped $100 to this game right now, I can make a weenie car that I could sit there all day, and Tarkis could actually probably run a macro, watch a movie while this thing just killed people all day long. And that's the reality of what this game is now because, again, it is in beta and people are griping about it, and hopefully the game gods figure out that that's a little unbalanced. And what makes it unbalanced is the fact that these guys are able, because of the power score of those 2 weapons I described, are so low that they can throw so much onto their rig, get the bare bone rig, make sure they're below the 6K mark, because what happens is when your power score reaches 6,000, you get put into a bucket where the power score, the players against each other can go from 6,000, I guess, even to 12,000. So almost double your power score within that bucket. So these guys want to be below that. So they know they're going after people that are 6,000 and below, and that means that their armaments are probably pretty slim, and they're basically just botting people, killing people all day long. And these guys will even go into a 5K bucket where they're just fighting people around 5K power score, and they're just killing people all day long because they've got their weapons, which don't require much power score, and just a little bit of armor on their rig, and they can just sit there and wipe out teams after teams after teams without really much effort. And that's part of the frustration. But as for competing in this environment, if you know what to look out for, you can avoid those problems. And what I do is when I see those pay to win players, or I don't know if you can make an argument they were able to make those weapons in this short period while it's been in beta. I gotta believe that they spent money on the game, which is okay for them. But the game gods should balance that a little better. That if this person just dropped $100 in the game, maybe there's a cooldown period where he can't just jump into games where people have not paid money or have no close to that kind of weaponry. And I think that's where the balancing needs to be. It's not on the power score they need to balance. What they got to do is balance the weapons. Because when someone's got an uber weapon, and it just doesn't matter because it can just one-shot anybody who goes onto the map, regardless if they're in tank mode or not. And that's the ridiculousness of it. And I'm not trying to tell you don't play this game. I am enjoying it. It's just that when I get into those games, I go back to the lobby, I go make a cup of coffee, I come back, I hope I don't get into games with those jokers. And it happens. And as you can see, I've only played for 21 days, and I've got some pretty good stats. And I can really enjoy this game. I found that when the population is saturated at night, when you've got a bigger population of people playing, you get a bigger variety of people. But if you're trying to play, let's say during the day, Eastern Standard Time around noon, you will find that a lot of these guys are running weenie bots that are just going to wipe you out. And it's just, that's just plaguing this game a little bit because nobody really wants to play in that kind of atmosphere. And I don't think anybody wants to drop $100 into a game just so they can do that, because everybody around them is going to hate them. I mean, that's the reality. Is you read some of these posts, they're saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you're." You know, even when they're on your team, it gets frustrating because you're looking for a challenge. You're looking for a good match. Well, we just stood next to this detonation bot, and as people moved into our base, this guy just took them out, and we stood there. He got flawless victories because this bot was running, and it kind of takes away from the game a little bit because you want to enjoy it. You want to be able to play the game, you know, strategically and whatnot. But when you've got some OP people running around, it makes it frustrating. But I do want to stress, again, I spent nothing on this game. I do very well. And let's quickly go to my garage here. Go to build mode. And you'll see that I've got some pretty good stuff. Like this guy right here that I've got. I think that's worth around 400 coin. So I got a few of these drone things kicking around. You can actually do some building yourself in this game, and you can make what you need to survive and enjoy yourself. But again, you'll be in situations where, regardless of what you're made, and you might be limited to your parts, how much parts you can put on a rig, because that's what gets me. As you get some new player, he only can put like 50 parts on his rig. That means the most power score he can go is like 4K. And then you got this doughhead with these epic weapons who have no power score in the weapons themselves. They're just one-shotting these guys. So these new players are like, well, I'll either have to pay money if I want to play this game, or I got to go choose another game. And a lot of these guys are choosing another game because they're not going to spend money for a game that's in beta and they don't know where it's going to go. And I don't blame them. That's part of the problems on the forums. People are saying, yeah, I'll come back to this game maybe in a year when they get it panned out, but I'm not going to spend $100 for a video game, especially when I can take that same $100 and buy a better video game. Like even Battlefront 2's coming up down the pike. You know, Battlefield 1. I mean, go play a better game if you're going to spend $100 for a game. And that's what they're saying is, so the game gods really need to figure this out. Well, thank you for joining me. This has been the Tarkis Zone.